In the 60s and 70s, the potency on those plants was about 1 to 3% THC. THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, is the psychoactive ingredient in pot that makes you high. So when we got to the late 70s, the early 80s, we started seeing THC potency at about 5%. When it crossed 5%, that's when we had the first cases of cannabis dependence disorder. That's addiction. When Colorado legalized in 2012, our mayor was on the radio saying, folks, marijuana is now at 15 to 17% THC. We can't do this. This is extraordinary. This is, more powerful than we've ever seen before. Now, before I tell you what we're currently dealing with, I want you to know something. In most of Europe and in Amsterdam, marijuana over 15% THC is illegal. They are only allowed to go up to 15%. Anything over 15 is considered a hard drug on par with heroin. That's not legal. Everything else is decriminalized, okay? So what did our law say in Colorado, Amendment 64? By the way, we amended our state constitution for legal marijuana. So we're going to have a very hard time changing this thing. But what we said in our state constitution is we will allow 100% THC. Well, when some of us read that language, because you have to understand, the people of Colorado didn't beg for legal marijuana and demand it. The marijuana industry brought this to our state. And they collected signatures, and they got on college campuses, and you'll hear it was a mandate of the people. Completely untrue. Regardless, I digress. So immediately we said, we've got to limit these THC potencies, and the industry said, okay, come on, look. You guys are all worried about nothing. You can't grow marijuana over 20%. It's impossible. The plant breaks down naturally. You just can't do it. Remember the tour I told you about a few minutes ago? So we're on this tour, and this little guy is bragging to us about how he just got raw cannabis back from the lab at 30% THC. You cannot find cannabis in Colorado under 25-30% THC. You cannot do it. So now we have these potencies that are higher than we've ever seen before. And if that wasn't enough, let's go to the next slide. The next thing we find out is we've got vape cartridges that drop into a vape pen. So if you know what e-cigarettes are, vaporizers, we have these THC cartridges. And so how I found out about this is I was doing drug testing with a colleague, and she was the intake coordinator for a nursing school. And they always did pre-enrollment drug tests on their students. You can't get into nursing school if you're using drugs. So we did all of those drug tests. And then she called me one day and she said, Joe, something weird is happening here. My students are going out for break and they're standing outside in the smokers area. They're allowed to use their vape pens and e-cigarettes out there. And they're coming back into class. And I got to tell you, there's something wrong with half these kids. They can't stay awake. They're falling asleep. They're acting like they're stoned. Could there be something in those cigarettes? And I said, well, I can't think of anything. That sounds weird to me. I don't know. And she said, look, I need you to research this for me. I'm in drug testing. I don't have time to research e-cigarettes, But I had a friend who worked at the American Lung Association in Denver, and I called him up. And I said, Bob, does this make any sense to you? And he says, oh, hold on a second. I need you to check your email. So open my email, and he has these pictures of indica, sativa, and a hybrid blend cartridge that drop into the e-cigarette. These are THC. And I was shocked. I had no idea. These are the #1 selling product in the state of Colorado. They're 50 servings per pen, per cartridge. The potency on these things, 40, 50, 60% THC. The thing that's really concerning is you don't smell the pot.